So many UK trips start the same way, with a TV series, a film, or a book that makes you think, I want to experience that for myself. With new releases and big anniversaries coming up in 2026, set jetting is bigger than ever. In this episode, I'm sharing where people are going in 2026 and what you need to know before you plan a set jetting trip of your own.
Welcome to the UK Travel Planning Podcast. Your host is the founder of the UK Travel Planning website, Tracy Collins. Each week, Tracy shares destination guides, travel tips and itinerary ideas, as well as interviews with a variety of guests who share their knowledge and experience of UK travel to help you plan your perfect UK vacation. Join us as we explore the UK from cosmopolitan cities to quaint villages, from historic castles to beautiful islands, and from the picturesque countryside to seaside towns.
Before we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Walks and Devour Tours. If you're planning a trip to London, you'll already know the challenge. There's a lot you want to do and only a limited amount of time to fit it all in. That's where the right tour makes all the difference, because you want experiences that are the best use of your time, with more access, less waiting and a deeper sense of the city. That's why we recommend Walks and Devour Tours. They offer walking tours and food tours designed to make your time count, often with early or after hours entry. You'll also be with exceptional local guides who add the stories and context, so you leave with a richer understanding of what you're seeing and a trip that feels genuinely memorable. If you're visiting London as a couple, with family, or you simply prefer a more intimate experience, Walks and Devour Tours also offer private tour options. To learn more, you'll find the link in the show notes. Now let's get into this week's episode. Okay, hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode. Now this episode, I was actually really excited to do this episode because there's so many amazing TV series, movies, books, just so many places that have inspired Doug and I over the years to go and visit places. And so if you've ever watched a TV series or a film and you kind of thought, I really want to go there, you are definitely not alone. And that's exactly what set jetting is all about.
I wonder what it was.
Yes, and yes, you hear Doug's dulcet tones because Doug has also gate crashed this episode of the podcast again for another week.
That's right.
But he loves TV and movies as much as I do. In fact, a lot of older ones than I do.
I was going to say, a lot of nostalgic or black and white films I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the black and white stuff and a lot of the older stuff. But I don't know, we love being able to watch so many of the different movies and also guess kind of often where they're set as well.
We don't agree on a lot of things, but we do actually agree on a lot of programmes, don't we?
We do. So let me actually define set jetting, because if you, like Doug, haven't heard about it, you haven't heard about it, it's like a big thing now. So that's actually travelling to a place because you've seen them on screen. So on a TV series or on a movie, and you want to experience the location for yourself. Yeah. So you'll also hear people talk about literary travel, which are obviously trips that are inspired by books. But in the UK, honestly, those two ideas often overlap because so many of our books have been turned into films and TV series.
That's very
they
true.
Really have. I mean, if you listen to episode 176 with Lauren, I chatted with her for a trip report and she designed her whole itinerary around books that she'd read to her kids. It was a fantastic itinerary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Oh, fantastic.
So this kind of idea, obviously literary travel, and now we've got the set jetting as well, where you actually want to go and see where these series or films were actually kind of brought to life. Wow. So, it is amazing. And heading into 2026 now, there is such a lot going on this year. I know that Visit Britain, for example, I've been talking about set jetting. There's a lot of talk about set jetting in the press. And there's a lot going on in the UK this year that are going to bring more visitors who particularly are looking at that kind of set jetting itinerary. So we're going to talk about what is coming in 2026, because you don't know, do you?
I have no idea.
No, I've done some research, so I'm very excited about some of this stuff. I
know about trains.
Oh, I know you do. Well, I know. But you also like TV.
I
you
do.
Like movies.
It's true. And books.
You do. I do. Anyway, so we're going to talk about some of the places that are going to be big in 2026 because people are going to want to visit because of what's coming, TV or movie-wise. And we're going to talk a little bit about where we visited over the years.
That's right. We've been to places together, and I've been on my own.
Yeah, well, we have. But there's so many places in the UK. It doesn't matter where you go, you're going to find somewhere that's being filmed there.
That's certainly true.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to be sharing where you've told me you've been, because you've seen something on TV or you've
Yeah.
watched a movie, or a place that you are inspired to go to visit because you've seen or you watched or you're hooked on a particular show, film, or a story that you really enjoy.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that. So do you want to know what's coming in 2026?
Go on then, tell me.
Okay. Well, first of all, there's a new series of Bridgerton coming out.
Okay.
I know you're not as enthusiastic about that as I am.
No, maybe not. I was
love
actually in Bath last year when there was a festival on.
Yes, I think it was a Jane Austen festival,
Oh, it's a
rather
Jane
than the
Austen.
Bridgerton festival. That was.
Oh,
Jane
is it not the
Austen.
same thing?
No.
Oh.
But it is set in that Georgian time, so Regency. It's Regency. I've got it right. So I love Bridgerton. Actually, when I was in Bath last year, I did a walk-in tour. A Bridgerton-inspired walk-in tour, which was really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was excellent. Really enjoyed that. So that's going to be good. So places like Bath and Hampton Court Palace, which are featured in the shows, are like recognised as like.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, included in a lot of tours if you're interested in Bridgerton.
Yes.
There is this one I am particularly excited about. It's not a series, but it's a new movie, and it's a new adaptation of Wuthering Heights.
Okay.
And this is by Emerald Fennell, who we actually remembered from Call the Midwife. She was actually
that's right.
a nurse, a midwife in Call the Midwife. I remember her from that series, but now she's a very, very well-known and respected director.
Oh, I see.
So she's actually directing Wuthering Heights. So that, I would imagine Yorkshire will be inundated this year.
Great place.
It is a beautiful place, and obviously Wuthering Heights, we'll know the book, set on the Yorkshire moors.
Okay, so this is in Haworth.
It's not in Haworth, that's where they lived, isn't it? That's where the Brontes lived.
It is, the parsonage.
Yes, they lived at the parsonage.
And I've been there because I did the Keithley Worth Railway, which is
you
also
see,
paid in the Railway Children.
You always have to bring trains in there.
Well, I know. This is my focus.
Okay, well, Wuthering Heights. Did you not read the book when you was at school?
I might have done, yeah.
Oh, well, it's
But
probably
that's a little while
long time
ago.
ago. Absolutely. Okay, so Wuthering Heights, Kathy Heathcliff, set on.
Is there a singer involved with this?
No. Oh, mate, you're thinking Kate Bush. I'm not going to sing that, and you don't sing it either, please. Okay, right. Well, look, the new Wuthering Heights movie is out.
Right.
And it's going to bring Yorkshire even more attention, as if All Creatures Great and Small, have to throw that, is not already bringing loads of attention to Yorkshire.
That's true.
But I imagine the Yorkshire moors are going to be inundated with people wanting to see where this was filmed.
Okay.
Anyway,
Most
so
definitely.
I want to mention that because that's one I'm particularly excited about seeing.
Righto.
And I'm interested to see what Emerald Fennell does with it as well, how she adapts it and what she does. So that'll be a good one. We're going to stick with the period dramas because we've gone from Bridgerton to Wuthering Heights. Now we're going to Sense and Sensibility, which is obviously Jane Austen.
Yes.
So I think there's a new series out. I might get this wrong. There might be a movie. It might be a movie or a series. I'm not 100% sure. But I have
both.
read that there's a new version of Sense and Sensibility out. Now, that's usually filmed around the Peak District. I'm just thinking about the other Jane Austen film, which has gone out my head. Pride and Prejudice, that's right.
Oh, yes.
This is the one with Colin Firth who comes out of the fountain.
Right.
I think that might be at Chatsworth House.
Oh, I know Chatsworth House very well.
There's also Limehouse, which is also used. I redid a concert with someone a few years ago who was doing a lot of that, and I should remember it. I think it was Limehouse. But anyway, that's going to be Derbyshire. So Derbyshire is going to be even more
Beautiful
popular.
place.
Peak District, beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, certainly is.
A little bit more gritty, actually. There's a new Peaky Blinders movie out in March.
I'll probably watch that one.
Yep. So I think they've done a lot of that in the Black Country Living Museum in the West Midlands.
Okay.
So I used to take the kids on trips to that when I was a teacher. So that'll be interesting. So if you're into
Birmingham.
Peaky Blinders, that'll be out in, I think that's in March. Obviously, you've got the ongoing popularity of series like Outlander, Vera. I think there's a new series of Vera coming out, and All Creatures Great and Small. We all love All Creatures Great and
It
Small.
was the last series of Vera then, because she stopped doing them.
Actually, well, maybe I'm wrong.
Yes,
Maybe there
yeah.
not another one coming out. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my behalf.
Yeah, I think she's finished filming the last one at some point last year.
Okay, well, maybe it's not out yet.
Maybe so.
Okay, well, anyway, they always are popular. So Outlander, obviously Scotland, Vera, Northumberland, which is where I'm from, and All Creatures Great and Small again in the...
That's the new series.
Yeah,
There was a 70s.
There was a 70s version of All Creatures Great and Small, which
Which
we
is also
get
excellent.
nostalgic about, don't we, when we watch it?
But the new one is excellent.
It's
I have to
really,
say.
really
I really
good.
enjoy that.
It's really good. And there's series like, I mean, this isn't new for 2026, but it's still endearing or encouraging visitors to Richmond and London, is the Ted Lasso.
Yeah, that's
And we're
true.
big fans of Ted Lasso.
yeah,
and I know,
excellent.
Discover Real London, I was talking to Ollie, and they have a tour of Richmond You can do that black cab tour, which is going to take you and show you all the Ted Lasso locations.
Fantastic.
I have got an article on it as well, actually. Now, anniversaries this year.
Okay.
I bet you didn't know this. You're going to feel old when I say this, but it's the 25th anniversary of Harry Potter.
No way.
Yeah. Can you believe that? 25 years. Wow. I remember going and buying the book for Dominique when she was little.
Did you queue up? Because there's a big demand for the books.
I think I was kind of slow off the mark. Yeah. So I think I got it. I remember getting the very first one was out. But yes, who knew that it was going to be as big as it was at that point?
It's really good.
And also...
There is a train journey connection with Harry Potter's, of course.
Well, we have done that.
Yes.
We can talk about that in a bit.
The Glenfinnan Viaduct.
And then, of course, it is, and this one's really cute. Somebody cute, and it's not you, is 100 years old this year. Well, were you nearly 100? Not quite 100. Yes. It's Winnie the Pooh. Would you believe it?
Fantastic. We all grew up with Winnie the Pooh.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I have not been to 100 Acre Wood.
No, I've not been. I'm very close to going quite a few years ago when my daughter was very small.
Yeah, you know something? I think that's somewhere I would really like to go. And I know we have done consults with people who've gone out to 100 Acre Wood and we've recommended
Did they play Pooh sticks?
I reckon you can't go to 100 Acre Wood without playing Pooh sticks.
I think so.
Okay, so, I mean, why is this stuff so popular? Because I guess we can all watch it over and over again. I mean, we've just watched at Christmas. We watched all the Harry Potter films again, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, we watch All Creatures Great and Small. I don't know about you. Do you just binge watch stuff? Because I do.
Yeah.
The other thing is I do struggle to wait until the series comes out so that I can, what these days, that Netflix will give you like 6 and then they make you wait a month and you get the next 6. I think they did that with Bridgerton last time round. It was very frustrating. I can't wait. No, you didn't, but I couldn't wait. But I think, I don't know, there's just so many of you can see all these British series that you couldn't before. Actually, and we did a consult recently with somebody who was a video review, actually. I'm sure it was a video review, and she was inspired by Escape to the Country.
Oh, that's
which
right.
we hadn't have. So that's not it. That is actually people who are very wealthy, who've got big houses, usually in London, and they can afford to sell these big houses in London and then move to the countryside.
Yes.
And then, so they've got like £25 billion from selling their house in London. Yeah. And then they go out to the countryside.
They're looking to downsize to 10 bedrooms.
Yeah, often that seems to be the way. But they go and check out all these pretty villages.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was kind of planning her trip around that, which was really, really cool.
Good idea.
Because I guess we're going to talk in a bit as well about actually when you plan stuff, like if you have got somewhere that you want to see because of, you're set jetting, it's actually cannot be a little bit more difficult than you realise. In fact, you have to think about it when you're doing your itinerary. But I'm going to talk about that in a bit. At the end, I'm going to give you some tips and some things that you need to think about if you are considering adding somewhere that you have watched a movie or read about in a book or watched a series and you go, I really want to go there. Anyway, so should we talk about some things that we've done over the years?
Okay.
All right, okay. So should we start off with the Cotswolds?
The Cotswolds, yep.
Lots of things have been filmed in the Cotswolds.
Over the years.
Lots. I have to start with Doug's favourite, actually, Father Brown.
I love Father Brown.
And we had to go, what was the name of, I bet you're not going to be able to remember it, what was the name of the Cotswold village that we went to?
Blockley?
Is it Blockley?
Blockley.
Blockley sounds right. You can go and get your phone and check it in a second.
Yeah.
I think it was Blockley.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had to go. I think we've been twice now, so we should remember what it's called. And you got all the Father Brown, where the church is, and you got all the photos there. We went with friends the first time. I don't think they ever watched it.
No.
They didn't have a clue. And then the next time, just me and you went to have another look. And I was like, okay. So that Doug did that for him, right? Because he's a Father Brown fan. Yes. So if you haven't watched Father Brown, do you want to kind of give a quick synopsis of Father Brown?
It's a crime program. So Father Brown's a priest, and he has an eye for detail and eye for solving crimes.
He solves all these crimes.
Yeah, there's only short programs, but Mark Williams plays the priest, and it is excellent.
You really enjoy it. There's always a lot of murders that seem to go on in the Cotswolds.
Well,
I'm thinking of Midsummer murders.
Yeah, well, is there a village in the Cotswolds that's not had a murder?
Well, I don't think the actual real village is in the Cotswolds. Let's just say that. Midsummer. I don't know of any place called Midsummer in the Cotswolds. There's any Midsummer.
I think Midsummer is the name of an area.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I think there is
somebody will tell us the answer to that, but I'm pretty sure there is an area called Midsummer, but the villages names are fictitious, but they're obviously being filmed somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there is actually a book about how not to get murdered in a Cotswold village or something like that. Which somebody shared with me.
That'd be a good survival guide, wouldn't it?
Well, we've been in the Cotswolds plenty of times, and neither of us have been murdered, so we're all right.
That is true.
So another place. So we went to Blockley. I think it is Blockley now. I think about it.
Yeah.
For you, and I want to go to Diddley Squat. Now you don't watch the TV series, but we know that so many of you are massive fans of the farm, Jeremy Clarkson's farm. So Diddley Squat. So we went there. That was quite cool.
It was,
and it's been really useful because so many people have asked us about Diddley Squat and going and visiting and the logistics around it.
It was a nice bacon sandwich, and I didn't get a Victoria sponge though, so maybe they do one now.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, we had to queue up for quite a while just getting a tiny little shop. But it was really worth it. I really enjoyed it, and I say it's one of those that we get asked about all the time.
Yeah. Parking is of a premium there.
Yes, we did have to park down a lane and kind of walk down. Other movies that are being filmed in the Cotswolds, you've got Bridget Jones's Diary, The Holiday. You wouldn't watch any of these, no. And actually, I know I'm not going to share where it is, but if you go on one of the Go Cotswolds tours, they take you to one of those villages.
We go to
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. Which is where one of those is filmed. Again, I'm not going to tell you which one. Yeah. But anyway, so you have to go on a Go Cotswold tour. So Cotswolds, fantastic. I mean, they love it because it's classed as kind of quintessentially England, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
We've been in the Lake District.
We have.
And what did you do in the Lake District?
We went to the Beatrix Potter Hilltop house.
Her house, Hilltop, where she used to live. So we did a tour on there because, again, the Lake District, actually, you're better off not having a car. You're better off, logistically wise, taking a tour because local transport's actually really good, but we took a tour to see that.
And that was really good.
And that was really cool. And I've got a great picture where I'm holding up one of Beatrix Potter's books and actually the illustration on the front, and you can see the same building behind.
Ah, that's right, yeah.
It's just, and that's where you really feel that you are you're standing in the same place that these people lived and walked and wrote the books. And I
think it's more powerful. I think it's really powerful with books. Because the books, remember, are well written, you've got it in your mind's eye what it will look like.
Yeah, I suppose you can kind of, with a book, you can imagine it yourself when you have that in your own mind. But I think that, I don't know, it was great. I mean, well, the next place I'm going to talk about, it isn't from a book. It's actually a TV series, and that was when we're down in Cornwall.
Ah, in Port Isaac.
Yeah, so how many people talk to us about Doc Martin?
Most of the people we talk.
Yeah, it's really popular. Obviously, Doc Martin and Paul Dark are the two for Cornwall.
It is Port Isaac, not Port Wen.
Yes, so Doc Martin was filmed in Port Isaac, not Port Wen, which is what it's called.
That's the fictitious
But that
name.
is really cool when you walk down and you see that harbour and you see what was the school building and you see where the doctor's surgery was.
That's right.
And I remember we saw where the chemist was. I think it was an ice cream shop.
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I think it was an ice cream shop. Yeah. It was really, really cool. That did not disappoint. We went on a beautiful, beautiful day. We actually didn't do a tour.
It was a summer evening.
Yeah, summer evening we drove there, didn't we? Yeah, it was lovely. I really, really enjoyed that. And then I'm going to talk about, I've actually mentioned Vera earlier on because I was kind of hopeful there was another series. So I'm going to have to find that out now. So Vera was filmed in Northumberland, which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I take great joy in trying to recognise all the different locations.
You are good at that.
Yeah.
You have recognised a lot of places, haven't you?
Yeah, so places like Holy Island have featured on Vera. And I'm glad it's drawn attention to Northumberland because I know I keep sharing this all the time. And I don't know if people in Northumberland are happy about me doing this or not, but because I don't want... It is a kind of, and I hate the word, but I'm going to say hidden gem, but it is really a lesser visited destination from tourists from overseas. I'd say British people are very aware of how beautiful Northumberland is.
Yeah.
But I think if you're visiting from overseas, you're going to know all about Cornwall, you're going to know all about the Cotswolds. Yeah. You potentially may know about Derbyshire and the Peak District. You'll definitely know about the Lake District. But I bet you don't know about Northumberland.
Well, that's very true.
So watch Vera if you want some inspiration. It's a bit gritty, actually, the show, but you'll see how beautiful it is. That northeast coast is gorgeous. And the last one I thought I'd talk about, but you may have some more that you want to mention. And we've actually just recorded, it's out in 2 more weeks, actually, is an episode all about visiting Highclere, aka Downton Abbey.
That's right, yeah.
And I've been twice, you've been once.
I have.
And we really, really enjoyed that. And that was somewhere that really just that is probably the place that I've been the most, where I literally could imagine myself in the program, literally with the music going.
Yeah. It's the one we get asked about most on.
It is.
Consults.
It is, yeah. I get into Eye Claire, but I think it's also the one that I don't know. I just love being an Eye Claire because you just somehow have the music going in your head the entire time. It's really funny.
That's
is
so
there
true.
anywhere else you can think of that you may have been, or that I've been, that you want to mention, that from a literary or a set jetting point of view?
Well, yeah, there's things like the Fourth Veil Bridge, which appeared in the first 39 Steps film. That was one place.
Okay.
The Keith Worth Railway for the Railway Children.
Yeah.
That's always comes to mind. High Claire, which has also appeared in Jeeves and Wooster
Yep.
in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
That was well known by me. Obviously, the Harry Potter films and the sites in London as well, just for that.
Yes, actually, yes. Well, we have got articles about Harry Potter sites all over the UK, London, York, all over kind of Scotland.
There's another
train.
crime
I think we
series
mentioned the
called
train.
Grace.
Oh,
It's set in Brighton. That's
that's very
well known.
good.
That's very
Yeah.
good. And we've just watched a program called Whitstable Pearl, which is obviously set in Whitstable.
Oh yes, I love that. In fact, that has made me want to go to Whitstable.
Yeah, so
It's really funny, isn't it? Because it's true. There's something about when you see this and you think, I haven't been to Whitstable, I now want to go.
Yeah.
Do you think there's actually a restaurant called Whitstable Pearl?
possibly it
I'm gonna check
looks
that
like a building that's.
I want to check that out. I have to say, this now planning to be in the UK in a few months' time, that I am very interested in going to some of these destinations, like Whitstable for a start off, which I've never been to before. 100 Acre Wood, which I'd like to go to.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Then there's in Cornwall the Poldark as well.
Yeah, well, because I get part of my ancestry is from the tin miners in Cornwall. I'm always pretty inspired by that. And Cornwall is amazing. And we do help people a lot with visits to Cornwall because actually it's further away than you think. It doesn't look like, when you look on a map, you think, oh, it's just down there. Yeah. Just down that bit there, actually.
Nice train journeys down there. Though.
Yeah.
There's one set in Stratford-upon-Avon.
Oh, yeah, you like that one. What's that one called? Shakespeare and something? Shakespeare and Hathaway.
Hathaway.
Is it Shakespeare and Hathaway?
Yeah, that's
it. You like that one. Yeah. Actually, thinking about when I was talking before about the feeling that you get when you're walking in the footsteps of, whether it's great writers or whether it's just actors and actresses in a movie, is like, I thought when I was at Anne Hathaway's house outside Stratford-upon-Avon, that really blew my mind. Those were the original floors, and I was thinking, my goodness, Shakespeare walked on this floor.
That is a feeling. I like that in some of the castles I've been in.
Anyway, that's kind of going at the literary side of stuff.
There's an endless list.
But there's so many places, and again, it kind of all blurs together because there's so many places that it's a book and it's a film and it's a series, and there's just about everywhere seems to have something, doesn't it? Just a quick pause to thank our sponsor, Walks and Devour Tours. If you're planning a trip to London, you'll already know the challenge. There's a lot you want to do and only a limited amount of time to fit it all in. That's where the right tour makes all the difference, because you want experiences that are the best use of your time, with more access, less waiting, and a deeper sense of the city. That's why we recommend Walks and Devour Tours. They offer walking tours and food tours designed to make your time count, often with early or after hours entry. You'll also be with exceptional local guides who add the stories and context, so you leave with a richer understanding of what you're seeing and a trip that feels genuinely memorable. If you're visiting London as a couple, with family, or you simply prefer a more intimate experience, Walks and Devour Tours also offer private tour options. To learn more, you'll find the link in the show notes.
There was a famous film, a black and white film called Brief Encounter, which is a scene at a station.
Which station?
Carnforth.
Oh, okay. Where is that?
That's on the West Coast Main Line.
And you'll have been there, no doubt, yes.
Many times.
Of course you have. Yeah. Well, it's not just us that are inspired to do travel around the UK because of the TV series or the movies or the books that we've read. Because I know that you are as well. Because I asked in our Facebook group and on Instagram, and I asked people to leave me a message, or if they were brave, to leave a speak pipe message so I could share it on this episode, which I'm going to do. So thank you so much for those of you who did that. And we really got some fantastic stories about this. So when I asked about this, about TV shows and films that inspired or inspiring future UK trips, where do you think came up more than anywhere else, Doug?
Outlander.
Yep, Scotland. Well, actually, not necessarily just Outlander, but Scotland. Scotland came up, like, honestly, that was a place. So, yeah.
Since Outlander, there's never been so many people, mostly ladies, going to touch standing stones.
I do that every time, you know what? And I've never, ever gone through and seen a Jamie. We all try it, but nothing happened. But anyway, I just want to mention, so for Facebook, I want to thank Lisa, Sherry and Robin for sharing their trips. And again, we've got Outlander mentioned a couple of times. In fact, Sherry says that she actually watched Outlander after she booked a Scotland trip, and then she realised there was places that she wanted to go to. So she went to Devil's Pulpit, and she organised things so she could see it. Yeah. And then I know Lisa, she loved going and visiting the Outlander places that she'd seen on screen. That changed the whole experience for her. Yeah. And then actually not just Outlander, I'm going to also mention Shetland as well, which is somewhere I'd love to visit. I'm going to lots of the Scottish Islands this year, but I'm not sure if I'll make it to Shetland. I'd love to, because they're a little bit more tricky to get to. Yes, but she's hoping to visit Scotland, Robin is, because not just because of the TV show, but also because of knitting. I think the knitting culture. I don't know. Do you make Shetland jumpers when you're in Shetland?
I guess
you need to let me know, Robin, what it is about knitting in Shetland. I wasn't sure. But anyway, not only the TV series that inspires her, but it's also...
The only jumpers I can think of are the Guernsey pullover from the Channel Islands.
Oh, okay. And now we have got 2 messages that were left on SpeakPipe. The first is from Lavinia, who absolutely loves Outlander, and I just love how she describes her trip. And then a short message from Tracy all about just going to Shetland again. So that's come up twice now. Shetland and Outlander seem to be coming up as kind of inspiring. And then also we have in Scotland, we have a message from Deborah. Yep. And this is slightly different because she was inspired to visit 2 castles because of a movie, quite an old movie. Can you guess what movie it would be?
Braveheart?
Nope.
I don't know.
Think Monty Python?
The Holy Grail.
Yes. So anyway, she's inspired. So I'm going to...
Tis but a scratch.
Yes. So so you can now listen to the lovely messages. Thank you very much to Lavinia and to Tracy and to Deb for leaving those.
I was really, really interested in going to Scotland after watching Outlander. And I think the history of Outlander and the story was, the story was just so beautiful and just grabbed me from the start, the love story, but the fact that she was a nurse and I'm a nurse as well, so really resonated. Plus, some days I really do feel like escaping. Okay, maybe to find some a Jamie somewhere. So I think the story was just wonderful. Outlander was just magical, and I just needed to go to Scotland. And once I was there, Outlander was still very important, but I think the history just grabbed me more, and I loved the place, the fact that, the buildings were just from history and we were walking through it, and it just felt so beautiful and magical. I really, really love Edinburgh, but I have also been to other places in Scotland. I have been to most of the Outlander locations as well, and even did a photo shoot. I know, crazy, but so wonderful. Highly recommend a photo shoot in Edinburgh as well, and one of them at the Baker's Close, which I will send a photo on the comments in your Instagram post. All right, well, signing off here, but thank you so much for the opportunity.
I'm travelling with my mother and my sister, and the 3 of us are all big fans of the TV show Shetland, and my sister especially. So we are spending her birthday this year staying in Lerwick and checking out the island for a few days.
So if you find yourself in Scotland and you happen to be a fan of Monty Python, there are 2 castles you cannot miss. The first is Stalker Castle, which is privately owned and you can't visit it, but you can see it from a distance. It was featured in The Holy Grail. And the best part about that is there is a lovely cafe up on the hillside with a great view of the castle, and they have the best food. Wonderful coffee. Another castle you don't want to miss is Doune Castle. It's about a 2-hour drive from Stalker Castle. It's a lovely drive through Glencoe. Doune Castle is a wonderful castle to visit regardless, but the infamous French taunting scene in the Holy Grail was filmed there, along with parts of Outlander and I believe parts of Games of Thrones. But regardless of that, it's a castle you don't want to miss.
So I think Scotland's a perfect example of where inspiration is strong, but you have to kind of, because of the distances and things like ferries and transport, if you're planning to go to any of the kind of more remote places, I'm thinking Shetland, you really have to think about it. There are lots of tours that you can do for Outlander, though.
Yes,
lots and lots of tours. Yeah. So that's Scotland. So Scotland, very, very popular.
Yeah.
And then the next place that came up actually when I was mainly on Facebook, I didn't get any voice messages about this, but Danielle mentioned visiting Bamborough Castle.
Good choice.
And York because of reading and watching The Last Kingdom. We haven't watched that.
I've watched them all.
The Last Kingdom.
Yeah, I said at Bamborough Castle.
Yes.
Yes.
You must have done that when I was away somewhere traveling.
Most likely.
Well, didn't we sit in the King's Chair or something at
We
Bamborough
did,
Castle
yeah.
last time we were there?
Or Bamborough. Yeah, it was called in there.
What was it called?
Bamberg.
I thought you were mispronouncing. I was it's Bamborough, mate. I know what it's called. I'm from there.
I think Babenberg was the
okay.
early name of it. Forgive me if anybody's an expert on that.
Okay, and then Laura and Narelle both said Northumberland is firmly on the list because of Vera, especially for the coastline and the scenery.
Oh, most definitely.
And also, Northumberland has so much stuff. We've just got beautiful countryside. We've got so many castles. We've got a gorgeous coastline. We've got lovely islands you can go and visit.
And my favourite bookshop in the UK.
Favourite bookshop ever. Yeah. We've got Roman ruins. Honestly, it is the county that just keeps on giving.
And nice people.
Absolutely. Well, I'm from there, yeah. But again, it's more spread out. And when we help people plan the trip to Northumberland, the first thing I'm going to say is like, are you going to drive?
Yeah.
Because transportation in Northumberland is pretty pants. It really is not great. We don't have, like, the main train line goes through. You can get off at Newcastle, you can get off at Morpeth, and then you're kind of through, and that's it. If you want to go and visit all the beautiful places, you can get off at Hexham. Yeah. Very special place. I'm not saying why, but very special.
Well, the old railway station in Alnwick is the bookshop.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of the train line was actually shut down. So if you're going to travel around, you're going to need a car. So again, I actually do have a lot about Northumberland on the website, so you can check it out.
It's a fantastic county to visit. There's no
question.
It
is. It's just we need to have a better system to be able to get around. I don't know. I mean, I'm tempted this year, and I may try it, is actually go to my sister's because she lives in Northumberland, and actually just see how far and how much I can do on public transport. My fear is that because it's such a large county, it's going to take a lot of time to get around places, so it's going to take most of my day travelling around.
It's a plan. I mean, I used public transport our trip around North Wales a few years back, and it's planning. It's planning. Yeah.
Just plan it again. Okay, then the next one obviously is Yorkshire. So Danielle and Mandy in the Facebook group both mentioned being drawn to the Yorkshire Dales after watching All Creatures Great and Small. I mean, we'll love it. And of course, with the new Wuthering Heights adaptation, as I've already talked about, the Yorkshire moors are going to be like
the moors on the Dales.
Yeah,
are
absolutely.
Distinctly different, but both stunningly beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Next destination that was mentioned via SpeakPipe was Cornwall and Devon. They came through as a strong theme.
Most definitely.
Mindy shared about Agatha Christie's books that inspired a week in Devon, including a visit to Greenway.
Ah, yes.
Where Agatha Christie lived. Now, Karen...
And in Devon, there'd also be the Burr Island.
Yes. I'd love to go there. That's something like that. We've talked about that for 20 years about going to Burr Island. So if you own Burr Island Hotel and you'd like to invite us, we would be happy to come to Burr Island and review your hotel.
Most definitely.
Now, Karen, I'm going to let Karen take the floor now, who's going to talk about Cornwall and her trip there.
Hi Tracy, it's Karen from Perth. You asked about what movies and TV shows have inspired us to go to travel destinations. I always wanted to go to Cornwall, but I particularly wanted to go after watching shows like Doc Martin, Poldark, and Fisherman's Friends, the movies. In Fisherman's Friends, you see the Minnock Theatre, which I hadn't been aware of before. So when my husband and I went to Cornwall on our last visit to the UK a few months ago, we went to the Minnock Theatre and that was amazing and well worth a visit. And also, as I said, Poldark is one of my favourite TV shows. And when I was doing my husband's family history, I discovered that his Cornish ancestors were actually tin miners in Cornwall around St Austell area. So he's now watching Poldark again with me because he wants to learn more about where his ancestors came from.
Now, again, Cornwall is an amazing place to visit.
Definitely.
It looks compact when you look on a map, but actually getting around and parking and just logistically, it can be quite challenging, can't it?
It certainly can. There's lots of small, narrow roads, and it's not the best railway coverage either, unfortunately.
No. And just getting places like the Minnock Theatre, which Karen mentioned, it's not easy. You have to have a car.
Heading through Mousehole to get there.
Yeah. And like you've got, where Dock Martin is, where Port Isaac is, and then getting down
coastline.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot, and getting from the north Cornwall to South Cornwall can take you some time.
Yeah, it's not a great distance. It's just not easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Then again, Downton Abbey and Highclere Castle came up. It remains one of the most requested experiences that we talk about, don't we, in consults. Yeah. And again, that was mentioned by Lisa, by Kel Bell and Laura. They all mentioned Highclere Castle as a must-do, thanks to, of course, Downton Abbey. Yeah. And you can listen to what Kathy had to say about her visit to Highclere, which she made last year, which is lovely after 5 years waiting to go.
Hi, Tracy. This is Kathlina from Kansas in the U.S., and I wanted to tell you about my experience visiting Highclere Castle. I'm a big fan of Downton Abbey, have been since the beginning. I've watched every season multiple times and all the movies as well, and so I was really thrilled to get to visit Highclere Castle. But there's a little bit of a story to this. I originally had tickets to visit Highclere back in June of 2020. And of course, when the COVID pandemic hit, it canceled my entire UK trip. It was going to be my first trip ever. And so I reached out to the Highclere Castle office and explained the situation. And this was the best example of customer service at all ever, but especially during COVID, because not only did the office say, it's okay, no problem, we'll hold your tickets for you until the pandemic is over and you're able to come again. If you can't ever make it back, we'll offer you store credit instead. And also they said for when the pandemic does clear up, we're going to hold slots available for you for any possible date. So it'll never be that the date that works for you is sold out. Just amazing. I was so impressed. Well, it actually took me 5 additional years to ever get back to my plans for traveling to England and the UK. And so I reached out again to them and said, okay, I'm actually finally coming in June of 2025. I know you probably didn't expect to extend this offer that long, but is there any way that I could still take you up on that and pay the difference for any increase in cost of tickets? And they absolutely graciously worked with me. And we found a date that worked within the time that I was going to be in England. And so I was able to go. It was awesome. Here's some tips I would give to any listeners. Absolutely go in the morning and go even a little early. And the first thing I did was explore the gardens. Absolutely, I would recommend that because I was pretty much the only person on the grounds. I think one other couple, a mom and daughter, had just arrived shortly after me. So don't miss the gardens. They're gorgeous. You don't really see them in the show very often, but they're amazing. And then I also arranged to have tea. It was sort of a special event that day. And so we had tea on the lawn. That was amazing. The best tea I'd had at any place in England. So the tour guides were awesome. They talked about the family, the history of the home. They talked about the show and other movies like The Secret Garden and others that have been filmed there. It was just one of the highlights of my England trip. So I absolutely would recommend any fans of Downton Abbey to please go see Highclere Castle.
So I think the thing is, with Highclere, you do need to plan your visit. And in 2 weeks' time, we've got a full episode coming out, which covers everything about visiting Highclere Castle, when it's open, how tickets work, how to fit it into your kind of itinerary. As in, make sure you get tickets. Don't leave it to the last minute.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Now, I can't not talk about literary travel as well, because, okay, mainly we're talking about set jetting, but you can't ignore how many people are inspired by books as well. So Jim shared in the Facebook group about tracking down Charles Dickens locations in London and visiting the Charles Dickens Museum, which I may do actually this year.
Fantastic, yeah.
And then Judith shared about she's planning a Jane Austen focused trip around Bath and Winchester to mark the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth.
Wow.
And I'm planning to do some of that myself this year. And then Egg mentioned being inspired by 2005 Pride and Prejudice adaptation and planning a visit to Chatsworth. So I shouldn't have forgotten about Chatsworth, should I?
No.
And then we got a message from Cindy how literary literally travel the UK and has been inspiring her since she was at school.
Wow.
So we can listen to Cindy now.
Hello, Tracy, from Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana, the USA. We went to Shakespeare plays. I also read Charles Dickens, Great Expectation, Tale of Two Cities, Oliver Twist, and on and on. That left me very much in awe and wanting to do everything and see everything in the UK. I've been to the UK 4 times, going in mid-April. Maybe we'll see you. I love this country, and I never get tired of it. Thank you.
So thanks so much to all of you who left me a message via SpeakPipe and for taking part in this episode. And thank you to those of you in our Facebook group as well who left us and those messages and let us know. So I think what I was mentioning before is really if you're going to plan a set jetting trip or include any set jetting in your itinerary, there's a few things that you need to think about. The first one was tickets, isn't it? We're talking about tickets.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because a lot of the filming locations and sites have got limited opening days or timed entry. For example, some of the stately homes and the smaller historic properties. So you really should check out, like we talked about Highclere, didn't we? We've been to Chatsworth quite a few times.
Yes.
So you need to check those places out. The second thing, really, so I guess you've decided which show it is that you want to kind of go and see, the set or the location, is to think where the location is. Because often they'll film something in one part of the UK and then film another part of it in another part of the UK, which happens to be like the opposite part of the country. So you have to kind of look at logistically where it's really easy for Highclere because mainly you can just go to the castle. There are other parts of the country because parts of York, I think, and Northumberland have featured in Downton Abbey, but the main thing everybody wants to see is Highclere Castle. So it's kind of deciding what it is that you want to see, and also like just looking at kind of does that fit into your itinerary? So if you're based in London and you're only in London for a week, but you want to go and see kind of where the Poldark stuff was filmed, you're going to be struggling time-wise.
Yeah, you've got to fit in logistics to get to and from places.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the next thing I'm going to think about. It's like public transport can be limited in places like I talked about Northumberland, haven't I? So you've got to think about how you're going to get around. So you may need a car. And I know Doug will be very sad, but sometimes you can't get the train to some of these places.
Unfortunately, that's true.
You can get to Highclere, though. That's quite easy to talk about that. But so you need to do your research or book myself and Doug for a consult or get us to review your itinerary video review because we can tell you if it'll work or if it doesn't.
We've done that for many people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Streamlined.
Absolutely. Yeah, streamlined it, make it work. These are the places we really want to go to, what can you do and how best to do it. So we can save you a lot of time and money, honestly, just helping you with the logistics of that.
Find the best fit.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing you can do is you can take a guided tour because they'll work. There's a lot of really well done guided tours which you'll learn a lot more than kind of just wandering around a place like an area yourself. I mean, when we went to Port Isaac, we didn't do a Doc Martin tour, but I actually would have, because we had to kind of recognise the stuff ourselves, which wasn't that hard, but I'd like to have done a tour. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the inspiration you get from watching stuff is great, but really you just need to make sure that you plan it so that you can visit these places.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, I think we've helped people before actually change their itinerary around so they could go fit at particular places that they wanted to go into because they hadn't looked at the days that certain places were open.
Yeah. Don't assume you can just turn up and get him.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I've loved talking about this. I love talking about TV and movies, and I think we're going to go and see Hamnet this week, aren't we?
We are. That's right.
Yeah. Really, really enjoy it. So, I actually want to know from you guys. Like, tell me, what is it? You know, is there a book? Is there a movie? Is there a TV series that you really, really, really want to? Are you inspired to go and see when you visit the UK?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a modern one. It could be like me, some old films and old books.
Yeah. Because I mean, these days, like we just all have more access to everything. Really, there's all the old TV shows are there. And it's great, and it's really good that they're remaking a lot of things as well. That is really fun. So I'm gonna link to everything that I talked about.
We've only scratched the surface.
Oh,
There's
we
so
have,
many.
yeah. But I will, as I say, link to some of the recommended theme tours that I really like and add a discount code as well. Do listen to our episode about Highclere Castle. We have no discount for Highclere Castle. Let me just tell you that. You have to book that with them. So, yeah, we've got that coming out in 2 weeks' time. So do subscribe so you don't miss that episode if that's somewhere that you want to go.
Yeah.
And so I've asked about SpeakPipe. I want you to come and listen in 2 weeks' time. And then what else would we really like people to leave us a review?
Yeah, just leave us a review. That's a good idea.
So if you've enjoyed the podcast, we would both really appreciate it if you could leave us a review in your favourite podcast app, because it does help more travellers find the show, and really, we really need your help with that. It's been a while. I've been encouraging people. We have so many people tell us on a weekly, daily basis how much they love the podcast.
Sure.
We just need you to leave a review, please. Leave us a 5-star review. It really helps.
Definitely does.
But until next week, when I'm talking about all things food in London, which is going to be really cool, from myself and Doug, happy UK travel planning. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the UK Travel Planning Podcast. As always, show notes can be found at uktravelplanning.com. If you've enjoyed the show, why not leave us feedback via text or a review on your favourite podcast app? We love to hear from you, and you never know, you may receive a shout out in a future episode. But as always, that just leaves me to say, until next week, happy UK travel planning.